I think we all recognize that increasingly it looked more and more difficult for us to host this convention during the week of July 13th through the 16th. But in my conversations that I've had with the delegation and with the convention organizers, as well as my conversations with Chairman Tom Perez, it was always clear to me that they are committed to nominating the next Democratic presidential nominee here in the city of Milwaukee. And I think that this announcement today underscores their commitment to doing that. I think it's also extremely important because at a time where we are navigating the most tumultuous public health issue we have faced in our lifetime, and increasingly one of the most precarious economic situations we are in, that hopefully, and I say this with a great deal of hope, that by mid-August, that this will serve as a very, very important shot in the arm for our local businesses so that they can expect to have visitors here. How many visitors? We don't know. How many days to the convention? We don't know. But I think what really allowed this to happen, again, was a recognition by the Democratic National Committee and Tom Perez and Joe Salmonese in particular, that it was very, very important to remain committed to Wisconsin, remain committed to Milwaukee, because they know we've put a lot of work into this. They know that this is something that's important to us. I will say this at the local level. As excited as we have been, and we continue to be very excited about hosting this convention, over the last month and a half, our city resources, and I think the resources throughout this community, have been committed to dealing with the COVID-19 crisis and the concurrent economic crisis that it's developing. In other words, as excited as we've been about the convention, it immediately got moved to the back burner, but it never got taken off. It never got taken off the stove, and it's going to remain on the back burner in terms of what we're doing right now in trying to address the public health crisis and deal with the economic crisis. But by having this additional month of breathing room, we are hoping that this will allow us then to pivot once we're moving out of these turbulent waters and use this as a very, very important shot in the arm, as I said, to moving the community forward. So again, I've had conversations with Chairman Perez, I've had conversations with Joe Salmonese, with Raquel Filmanowicz and the host committee, and I know that they've reached out to Fiserv Forum, to the Wisconsin Center District, to others in the community to make sure availability was something that we could work with. And everyone they've talked to has been very, very accommodating. I'm very thankful to that. Obviously, there are going to have to be some adjustments that are being made along the way, but this is a challenging time. And I think what you saw here was a commitment to the process, a commitment to the community, and a commitment to public health. And I'm happy about all three of those very, very much. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions on this. A question from Mary Spacuza: what type of availability for hotels will there be in mid-August? I think we recognize right now that all of the hotels, every single hotel in this nation, is under tremendous duress. And I think that people's plans have been disrupted in the near future. And I think for many people, they may still be disrupted in August. I'm confident that we'll be able to work with the hotels. I think the hotels will be very, very eager to work with the convention because, again, this is a new world we're living in. And this is going to be something where they're going to have an opportunity to work with the convention to provide the room. So is it going to take some work? Absolutely, yes. Is it work that I'm confident can be done? Yes, because we've already done it once. And we've been involved in this once. And so I know that the host committee team, I know that the Democratic National Committee on the convention side is starting to work with the hotels right now. But I'm hopeful. I think it's also clear what we saw in the last year is Airbnb had advertised that the city that had the greatest increase in bookings between 2019 and 2020 in the world has been Milwaukee. And so I think that this is also obviously an option that you're going to have individuals using alternate types of places for staying as well. So again, I'm not going to pretend it's not going to take some work, but I think that there's going to be such an eagerness at that time to inject some vitality into our hospitality industry that people will be able to work with them. How long will it take? This is from Adam Brewster. How long will it take to prepare the city and event centers for the convention? Well, fortunately, a lot of that work has already been done and is continuing to be done. The work, for example, on the security footprint, we've been working very closely with the Secret Service on that. That has been moving forward. Working on a lot of the changes that we're going to need from a city level in terms of reconfiguration of traffic patterns. A lot of work has already been completed on that. So I think that there has been a lot of work that's been done, and I think that's one of the factors that went into the decision by the Democratic Convention, is that they knew that we were working on this. And so I think that it's going to be easier here than anywhere else. But again, there's going to be work that has to be done. There's no question about that. Brendan Cullerton, does this make it more likely that the convention will look more like what we expected before COVID-19? I think it is far too early to even predict what that will be. Hopefully it will look like that, but I cannot even come close to making that assertion with total confidence. I would love to say yes, and I hope it's yes, and I hope that we have tens of thousands of visitors, but we can see that this is changing on an hourly basis. And so I think that there's a lot of twists and turns between now and obviously the end of this month, not to mention the 3 months that we have then following that. So I hope so, but I certainly can't guarantee that. Ken Wainscott, your outreach to local business was well underway. Can you resume that process, or will it take, will a lot of the process have to go back to square one? It's not going to have to go back to square one, but obviously it's going to have to go back several squares. I think one of the things that has been happening, and this is not just for this convention, but I think in terms of making sure that we have the funds available, I don't know what this is going to do to the budget, and it's going to take some additional work, obviously, to do that, but there's a really solid team over there working on the fundraising as well. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you. Just wanted to make sure that I was available to, again, in closing, this is really good news. It's really good news at a time when we need some really good news. But I know this isn't on the front burner, and it shouldn't be on the front burner. But let's hope that by August that life is back to normal for every one of us. We know that Milwaukee is beautiful in August, and I think people will still come and have a great time. But please stay home, be safe, and let's get through this.